How many of you have ever had the chance to vote? If you're a woman and you raised your hand, you can thank Alice Paul. Alice Paul spent her entire life dedicated to making sure that women had the voice that they deserved, and she inspired many people along the way because of her dedication to the cause. She is famously quoted saying, "When you put your hand on the plow, you can't put it down until you get to the end of the row." She truly lived by this quote, fighting for what she believed in until the day that she died. Alice was empowered to be a leader ever since she was young. She grew up on a small farm with her parents, who showed her the importance of equality, working for the betterment of society, and standing up for what you believe in. Her father built the farm that she lived on from the ground up, showing how perseverance and hard work can truly pay off. Her family became very wealthy, but they still lived a simple lifestyle. This allowed Alice to realize what was truly important instead of getting caught up in materialistic items. She was also a Quaker. Quakers believed that women and men should be treated equally. Therefore, she was always growing up in a society where women were treated equal to men. Her mother was a member of the National American Women's Suffrage Association, or NAWSA. Alice often attended meetings with her mother, and here she discovered what women's suffrage and women's rights was really about. After she went to college, she went to England. While she was there, she saw the English suffrage movement and was inspired by what they had done there. She decided to take what she had learned and bring it back to America to apply it to the U.S. women's suffrage movement. One of her main goals was the ratification of the 19th Amendment, or women's rights to vote. She founded the National Women's Party, or NWP, which was originally a branch under the NAWSA. However, they later split because of their differences in how they wanted to get the 19th Amendment ratified. The NAWSA focused more on state campaigns and working with politicians. However, the NWP wanted to take a more radical approach, a nationwide campaign. In order to do this, Alice Paul organized Silent Sentinels, which were pickets outside of the White House. During these pickets, they directly attacked the president, President Wilson. At first, he ignored these picketers. However, when World War I started, he thought that he could not be attacked by his citizens. So, he started to have the picketers arrested and fined. Alice Paul was one of the women who got arrested from the pickets. However, she still continued her fight while she was in jail. One thing that she did was lead hunger strikes. Because she wouldn't eat, the other women wouldn't eat either. The prison guards saw how the people followed Alice, and they didn't want the women to die from starvation while they were in jail. So they tried to force feed her through tubes in order to make the other women eat too. However, this failed, and the women would not eat. People found out what was happening in the prisons, and they began to feel sorry for the women. This led to popular public opinion for women's suffrage. Eventually, the public opinion grew so much in favor of women's suffrage that the women were released from the prisons, and the president himself got on board with the women's suffrage movement. Because of this, the 19th Amendment was ratified in 1920. Even though this was a great victory for the women's rights movement, Alice Paul was not done. She immediately changed her focus to the Equal Rights Amendment, commonly known as the ERA. This is a document that states that equal treatment is same treatment. However, it's not just about women getting equal pay. It also focuses on things such as having women in the draft, which can cause some controversy. However, Alice Paul never saw this document as controversial. She stated, "I never doubted equal rights was the right decision. Most problems are complicated, but to me, there is nothing complicated about ordinary equality." She composed the first draft of the Equal Rights Amendment at the Seneca Falls Convention in New York. It stated, "Men and women shall have equal rights throughout the United States and every place subject to its jurisdiction." The Equal Rights Amendment was passed into Congress, however, it has not yet been ratified. Alice Paul died before she could finish her work with the Equal Rights Amendment, but her work was not in vain. Many people have been inspired by what she has done and continue to fight today. She didn't only lead organizations and pickets, but she also continued to fight while she was in jail. She was dedicated, and as soon as she accomplished one goal, she moved on to the next. She worked until she died, and without Alice Paul's contributions, there is no telling if women would have the rights that they have today.